Once upon a time, in a faraway kingdom, there lived a kind and beautiful girl named Cinderella. But her life was not as magical as you might think. After her mother passed away, her father remarried a woman who had 2 daughters of her own. Unfortunately, these 3 were not kind at all. They made Cinderella do all the housework, from scrubbing the floors to cooking their meals. While they dressed in the finest gowns, Cinderella had only rags to wear. But do you know what? She never lost her kindness, and she never stopped dreaming. One day, a royal announcement spread through the land. The prince was hosting a grand ball, and every young lady was invited. Cinderella's heart filled with hope, but her stepmother and stepsisters laughed at her. "You go to the ball? Impossible!" They tore her dress and left her behind as they rode away in their carriage. Poor Cinderella. She ran to the garden, tears rolling down her cheeks. And then, something magical happened. A warm glow surrounded her, and when she opened her eyes, a lovely woman stood before her. It was her fairy godmother. With a twinkle in her eye, she waved her wand. In an instant, Cinderella's rags turned into the most beautiful gown, and on her feet, sparkling glass slippers appeared. A golden carriage, led by enchanted horses, stood ready to take her to the ball. But there was one condition. "The magic will end at midnight," the fairy godmother warned. "You must leave before the clock strikes 12. Excited and grateful, Cinderella arrived at the palace. The moment she stepped inside, everyone turned to admire her, even her stepmother and stepsisters, though they didn't recognize her. And the prince? The moment he saw her, he couldn't look away. He asked for her hand, and they danced all night, lost in each other's eyes. But then, bong! The clock began to strike midnight. "Oh no!" Cinderella gasped and ran as fast as she could, dashing down the palace steps. One glass slipper slipped off, but she didn't stop. She just barely made it home before the magic vanished. Her gown turned back to rags, and the carriage disappeared into the night. The next morning, the prince sent his guards across the kingdom with the lost glass slipper. "Whoever fits this slipper," he declared, "shall be my bride." The stepsisters tried to squeeze their feet in, but it was no use. Then the guards turned to Cinderella. Her stepmother scoffed. She wasn't at the ball. But when Cinderella gently slipped her foot inside, it fit perfectly. The guards cheered, and soon Cinderella was reunited with the prince. They were married in a grand celebration, and Cinderella's days of hardship were over. She ruled with kindness, just as she had always lived. And so, my dear friends, Cinderella's dreams came true not just because of magic, but because of her kindness, courage, and belief in a better future. And remember, just like Cinderella, you should never stop dreaming.